Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I'm your host, Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash_Bo3, and to our farthest right, per usual, is none other than the Rex Shady Nero. And guys, girls, ladies, and gentlemen, we've got a lot to get into today. Of course, the official start of Stage 2 of the Call of Duty League, and a lot of interesting news this week, of course, with some benchings across the league, with some new metas. We've been seeing the new metas this week, and of course, a lot of fun, spicy talk on the new maps that are in competitive COD. Before we get into any of that, guys, I've got to ask, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I am feeling like a bag just hanging out in a tree, and I don't quite know what's going on, but I'm just living the life, right? There's a bird's nest, taking care of her little baby birds, and they're just chirping away, and I'm just taking it in. Enjoying what's around me and breathing in the fresh air.
Wow. Man.
Oh, okay.
It's been some nice weather lately, though. It has. Hope it's been nice out there for all of you guys as well. Of course. Sam, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A little, southern, little draw there.
I was imagining like an old Western,
there's not enough room in this town for the both of us.
Yeah, he was just sitting there
no, but he was just sipping his coffee,
Yeah.
Having a good time. But man, it's an exciting one today, guys. Hope you guys are excited about this one as we are, and it's going to be going. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at SalvationsElite, at Bash_Beer3, at Shady Nero. Yep. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can drop a comment on YouTube. You could drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And today, Sam has a very, very spicy review for us.
I like this one.
All right.
You do?
I do.
A very, very nice one. What do you got for us?
So here we go. And you know what's great about Apple Podcasts?
Yeah?
Is that it makes me lose my spot sometimes. So this is just a little buffer.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah.
And
I hear the reviews are really easy to do over there on Apple Podcasts.
So here we go.
Oh.
Now that my quick fingers have
your little sausage fingers.
Yeah, that's true. 5 stars by TB Rogue.
Oh, okay.
I think this is the best Call of Duty podcast out there. But I do have some hot takes for y'all.
Okay.
Rex, New York had a fluke event.
Uh-oh.
Josh,
okay.
Sam is skinny. It wasn't the wide cam.
Liar!
Sam, I'm more horny for forming. Impossible. Impossible. I like to hear y'all's thoughts. Really do love the podcast. Keep up the amazing work. Those were 2 hot takes, 1 not hot take.
Look at how big my hand is.
Sam is skinny. It wasn't just the wide cam.
Then look at how small my hand is. All right, guys. Do you see the difference here? Look how small my hand is. Look at how massive my hand. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is like a second grader. Okay.
See, if you see me move towards the middle, there's a reason because I'm still skinny.
Definitely, yeah. Me and Sam definitely prefer recording over here. Right here. Yeah.
But on the real topic, New York, I don't think they had a fluke event. Maybe they played really, really well, but just because they got that initial honeymoon period that teams go through, but they still legitimately are in that top 5 range. Could be top 6, 7, but it's not like it was so fluked, so fluky that they didn't beat these teams fair. I know what you mean. These teams 3-0. That's not fluke.
Yeah. Finishing top 3, they played top 3 COD that weekend. I guess more I feel like what the player's saying is that it's fluky in the sense that they won't play top 3 COD moving forward. But I do agree with you that they played top 3 COD that weekend for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, he got you riled up there. Eh?
Yeah, that's how you get Rex riled up.
I'm not saying New York's going to win every single match and that they're always going to be beating Optic, but it's not like they're going to be a bad team going forward either.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great review, though. We do appreciate that one, of course, per usual. And we are excited to say that today, again, we are brought to you by DraftBuff. So if you guys know what DraftBuff is, it's fantasy football for Call of Duty. And we got a spicy little conversation we're going to have here in a second about some of the best players this weekend in fantasy Call of Duty. But you can create leagues with your friends and, I know people out there like, but we're after the first stage. How could we possibly make a league with our friends? They still let you make a league with your friends even after the first stage. You can start up the league right now as if the COD League was starting right now and still make a league with your friends. But if you just want to play with the boys and compete against us, you can do that as well. In the community draft Royale, the link is down in the description, and you can use the link down there, support us, and have a good time joining into the community draft Royale as well. And DraftBuff really is the go. It's a good time, and the listener league has been a blast so far.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned in the last podcast, unfortunately, I'm not undefeated anymore. But one loss of the season's, one loss isn't too bad. But
how's your roster doing now?
I'm in a little bit of a problem here because my substitute, we had, I decided to draft Afro, and of course, instead of using Afro, they had decided, nope, we're just going to sign someone else. I had Alex in my starting lineup as well, so not doing too hot right now.
Guess who I drafted?
Yeah, who?
Insight. As my
that I wish I would have done that.
Yeah,
that would have been good. But
I'm actually in a bad spot too, but we can talk about that later.
Tough scenes.
Maybe you just need to get your horse to get you out of the ditch or something. It's simple as that. Just drag you out. But anyway, we were talking about the for sure the 3 best values this weekend in fantasy Call of Duty. Not only that, but the player that you believe will score the most points this weekend. So your best. Let's start with our best value, and then we'll all give maybe consensus or maybe not the player that will score the most points this weekend. I mean, Dashy last weekend in one series broke the record against New York for the most points ever in one series, but then of course it got balanced out after the rest of the matches they played. So Rex, lead us off with the player that you believe is going to be the most valuable this weekend, the highest value based off the price for the draft royales.
Okay, highest value or
the player who will be the most value based off their price.
I mean, you can never go wrong with Awakening. He's always making top.
He's one of the
scores.
most expensive players this week.
Exactly, he is one of the most expensive, but he's super consistent. I would also say Illy, I think, is going to do more. I think right now he's
really
40,
cheap.
He's 44. And granted, Illy has been playing
stats-wise.
We kind of were expecting Illy to kind of show up as much, but that potential is still there, and he could definitely very much bounce back from that hard.
For sure.
So I think he's one of those players I would pick up.
Dallas does only play one match this weekend too, which again, me and loving picking the guys who have only one match going this weekend, and they play against Seattle, so that is pretty juicy. I agree with that one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Sam, who you got?
So, pro tip for you guys.
Ooh.
Well, you already said it. Basically, look at the matchups, and then basically who's playing London. Who's playing London this weekend?
Wow.
LAG.
Yeah, very interesting.
Who's a little bit lower? Apathy.
And all of those players are priced pretty affordably.
55, Apathy. I think he's going to be a valuable pickup.
That's not bad.
That's interesting. I do agree with that one. The two in that matchup, there's 2 guys that interest me the most. I guess I'll bring them both up as my one. I'll cheat the rules here. I guess we do make the rules around here.
I think we're going to say the same thing, Josh, but yeah.
Jerd is very interesting, first of all. He's only 28 cost this weekend. Very interesting. The other guy, I think Vivid.
Jerd's in the Elite Series.
Oh, my word. I did this in my ranking video, too. Zed.
For a second,
Zed.
I was racking my brain. I'm like, did I forget that?
I literally did this in the ranking video too. No, Zed. Oh my word, Zed.
Yeah, Zed. Yep.
Is 28.
This is the player.
And he's very
pop-off potential.
He's 28
wow.
cost. Yeah,
okay.
so that's pretty valuable.
Wow.
Pretty nice. And then Vivid as well. I think on LAG, both those guys are pretty interesting. Just because
how much is Vivid?
42.
Okay, so that might be a better value than Apathy.
Definitely a nice value there. So he's I think the cheapest one right now on LAG, and against the Ravens, there's going to be some S&D opportunity there for LAG, and if Vivid catches fire in that match, I think the upside is pretty nice for Vivid for the cost, and as well as Zed as well.
Yes.
Not Jerd.
One more, I guess I'll throw Priesta, also sitting at 41 on this Rocker squad, which we're expecting, hoping that Rocker is going to show up a little bit more.
They got a pretty tough schedule.
They play Paris. They play Paris and Florida.
So this is that potential, if they're going to shine, Priesta can be that guy that could do it for them. Okay. So he's cheap, and this team, if they do pop off, Priesta's going to be a reason why.
Interesting. Okay, so now, Rex, who do you predict will be the highest scoring player this weekend?
I mean, that's such a tough one. I mean, I always who are the Mutineers playing?
It's not tough, and I know the answer, and I'm the right answer.
All right, Rex or Sam, lead us off. Who is it?
I'm going to say
HUKE.
They're playing one game.
Yeah.
They're playing against Seattle
I had
Surge.
2 names in my head. HUKE was one of them.
And it's going to be HUKE. He's going to go off. That's
in
the
one
answer.
series.
In the one series versus Seattle Surge.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I had him in my lineup.
Yeah. I know you did. I know you would pick him.
Yeah. So he was one for me. The other player, I mean, Optic has one match this weekend.
True.
It's against Paris, so there's potential there. There's potential there for them to dominate. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, Dashy's a pretty dang good choice for having the highest overall score this weekend as well. I do think Formal's a very interesting play this weekend. And I would be lying if I said I didn't have him in my lineup as well.
Wow, we just got a little bit of a sneak peek into Josh's lineup.
I know, but now because I said that, I'm going to change it because everyone's going to copy it. Rex?
I always pick Awakening. Awakening is my number one pick.
He's your best value. He's your most.
He is, because he consistently, like, you can say, like, is he going to always be number one? Maybe not, but like, he's almost always in that top 5. And a lot of times he is number one.
Florida plays Seattle. They play the Rocker. So, definitely
the potential
winnable.
for Awakening to do that is really there.
Yeah, I like it. So, again, shout out DraftBuff. I hope you guys, get second place this weekend, of course, behind myself. Because, this team's insane. I'm going to win. Just facts.
Well, if they're going behind you, then that's impossible because you're going to be last.
So, I see what you did there. That was really funny. Yeah.
Pretty good. I've judged it.
But yeah, shout out DraftBuff. They're good. Use the link down in the description. Join us, compete against us in the Draft Royale, and get a nice second place behind at least one of us. But with that said, I think we can get into the news of the week. The Call of Duty News of the Week. This was a spicy week of news.
Unexpected.
Definitely one of the at least top 5 weeks of spicy news this year. It has been a very, very interesting week. And where do we even begin? Should we start with the lead? With the lead?
I mean, this is
a hot one.
One of the most unexpected benchings.
Out of nowhere, we checked Twitter and bang, there it is. Methodz is like, yo, before you hear it from anyone else. Sad tear music inserted here. Before you hear it from anyone else, I have been benched by the Ultra in my best games as World War II. Thoughts on Methodz being benched? Rex, where you at with this?
I mean, I replied to this. I think it's crazy. Like, I thought Methodz was really a catalyst for the team, honestly. And it was so weird it was just weird to see that he was the one that was being benched. I didn't really think anyone needed to be benched. I think they just had some teamwork things to work on, but apparently they thought Methodz was an issue. They needed to get him out and get somebody else in, which was Insight. I guess they want a new change of pace, but I think it's weird that it was Methodz. I thought Methodz was playing pretty well.
The only player to have a 1v4 all season, and he's benched.
Marky B, man. He's cutting him out.
Bro, Toronto's savage, though. We knew this going into the year.
They are.
I mean, like you said, we thought it'd likely be Bance before the season started, but Bance has been at least serviceable this year so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for Methodz, it's weird because of the meta right now. I mean, you're going to have Insight, probably having to play a flex AR role there and how that plays out with Cammy now. Thoughts, Sam? Man,
this was the time to keep Methodz with this new meta.
Yeah.
Man, with the slow Krig. AR, the Krig. If you were to give me okay, Sam, give me your list, your top 10 list of people who could be benched. I don't think Methodz would be in that list.
No.
10.
No, probably not.
I don't think so.
Definitely not. I mean, Toronto wasn't playing great.
No, they weren't. No. But would you have said Methodz was the problem? He's not going to...
It's a communication thing, man. They can't understand that American. They can't understand the American.
It's weird.
That's what it is.
It's weird.
They just can't understand him.
Yeah. So
he's like, He's weak. He's weak. Top Eskies.
I was hoping he was going to do a drama alert video on himself.
Oh, that would have been so
That would have
funny.
been hilarious.
Drama alert nation. To be fair,
Methods
has
dropped.
been benched.
That would have been
Before anyone else notices,
Very
I'm
sad.
breaking the news right here.
That would have been very sad.
Honestly, what a missed opportunity.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
Seriously. But yeah, so I don't really know what I would like to know what the thought process was there. If it truly was just like, because you can't say it's performance.
They just needed a switch up in the team chem. That's like
I
the only
guess.
explanation.
Yeah, it is. I mean, after every map you get lost, you could see Cammy on like the cam, like literally after the match, it's like, how are we losing? You know, like
Yeah, cameo. Yeah,
Cammy was tilted, like legit pissed, and so, I mean, obviously you're gonna be pissed right after you lose a map, but it is interesting for sure. I don't know. They had to make a change. Something needed to change, and so they decided it was a personnel issue, and with something going on with Methods, I guess. I guess they think it's a pacing issue, but statistically, Methods hasn't even been that slow this year compared to some other years, so it's weird. Yeah. Definitely the most surprising thing. I mean, also based off their team's literally based. You know, they've had content series around Methods. They've like there was pictures of like the billboards around Toronto with like Methods like the front player.
Yeah.
Like that's tough, you know. That's definitely tough. It'll be really, really interesting to see what happens with this team moving forward. I mean, do you think this makes them better? At the end of the day, do you think this makes them better, Rex?
I mean, Insight is really a question mark for me.
He's played great in the AM scene.
Yeah, but you know, we go from AM scene to pro scene. Who knows how that's going to transfer? Like a lot of times we've seen it be successful. Is Insight an AR player?
Generally a flex.
Generally a flex, and then are we going to have a main AR in a Bance, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, I think Cammy could do it.
Cammy, but he's also a stellar, like, so it's really, I feel like a tough call, but I mean, it could be better. They got the honeymoon period. They honestly might show up this event, played really well. I mean, it really depends on how Insight shows up.
Yeah, so you see just a complete toss-up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sam?
we've seen the AMs be super successful before, and maybe it's going to be successful for Ultra now.
I mean, they don't have an easy showing. They play against the Thieves and they play against FaZe this weekend. So, not easy matchups off the rip here for a new squad.
Yeah. Obviously, Katie doesn't say everything, but Methods was in the top half of players on both Hardpoint and S&D, above 1.0.
As the main AR, though.
Yeah.
So.
As main AR, the thing with Methods is you're not going to get a flashy player, but you're going to get that like core. So I don't know. You take that away, and that can like just maybe you can say you have more upside with them, but like will they execute without Methods? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like last year with Toronto, I mean, it took them a while to find that right recipe for success, and you know, Methods was the one player who never saw the bench last year. You know, I mean, they tried out so many different guys when it came to, you know, everyone else that was on that team last year, and then it's a little surprising. I just don't. I agree with you. It's hard to say. I would lean towards no. It doesn't make them better, but I mean, if Insight can come in here and
if the chemistry is just
if something
that much
works
better.
inside Respawn, it's hard to say exactly how that'll play out right now because we just haven't seen them. We just don't know what that's going to look like. But I do lean towards it'll probably be slightly worse, but at the same time, it's like, how much worse can you really get in Respawn?
That is
so it's
true.
like, that's why it's really, really tough. And I feel like I'm just excited to see what this looks like moving forward. So I'm kind of with you on that one, Rex. I don't know, anything else there for Toronto as a whole?
I mean, coincidentally, the GM left.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if there is anything there that's like tying into it or not, or if it truly was just
wisdom, right?
Yeah, she just kind of left and she felt that she didn't want to be there anymore, or like maybe there was a personnel change, or you know, I don't know.
The no Zinni, no Winnie
situation.
No Winnie.
So
I mean, she said she wanted to just like go out. I think she does DJing music. I read her little paragraph, but she's like DJ music. She's gonna start streaming there, and then she also is moving to I think Germany or something, and she's gonna be their partner over there. So
interesting.
I don't know. Maybe it was just kind of like
maybe just
her
coincidence
life was somewhere else.
Yeah, true. So
yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, so that's really, really interesting. So obviously that was the hotness of the week. We'll talk a lot more about Toronto in a little bit later when we do our predictions. But the other two big roster mania rumors this week revolved around amateurs finding their way into the CDL. So
new faces.
Two things for sure. One thing we know is 99% sure happening is PaulEhx joining London in place of Parasite. Rip to the dream for Parasite and how that could play out. And I guess we'll talk about that one first.
Yes.
Rex, obviously I want to hear your thoughts off the rip on this one. It's your boy Parasite. Yeah. Head back to the bench. Where are you at with this?
I mean, I'm not even going to lie. This really could be an improvement for the London Royal Ravens. As much as it pains me to say something like that, PaulEhx has really proven himself in the AM scene on that WestR squad. But the thing is that he denied London Royal Ravens' first offer to stay with that OG WestR squad.
That's weird with the whole WestR thing, yeah.
And then once it fell apart, it almost seemed like, well, now PaulEhx is just be like, well, I guess I'm just going to go do this. And Ravens took him pretty easily, and obviously they weren't showing up in events. And Parasite, he has the brain for COD. He knows how things function, but maybe the mechanics aren't quite there. I don't know.
I mean, we did say going in. I mean, it was pretty obvious going in that the roles didn't make a ton of sense for London off the rip. I mean, when you're playing Shawnee and Parasite together, I feel like they should never ever play together.
Yeah.
And so you're putting all of them into a tough situation with the roles you're trying to play here. So I mean, Paul has been nasty. So there's a world where this is a great move, and I'm sure they'll announce it here within the next few days. Maybe by the time this podcast goes live, it's gonna be really, really interesting. I mean, again, it is crazy with WestR and how that played out. I mean, I guess the other piece of news again is we'll talk about this in a second, but Venom might be going to LA Thieves potentially as a sub just for as an AM player. But it's interesting that originally, like you said, the WestR squad they were ride or die together. Yeah. This was them four getting picked up going into the offseason by an expansion team. Yeah. And now, a month later, we're sitting here and Zaptius might be the only player left on this team in a week or two, depending on what happens with the Venom. Yeah. So it's like, what? Zap and Gravity really got screwed big time here.
Crazy.
Yeah, honestly. It's wild. And so I don't know. Sam, thoughts on Paul in London?
Yeah, it's weird because I agree. It's like, I don't think you can say Parasite was the worst performing player on that team. I think Alex and Dylan
not consistently
were struggling for worse, but the rules were weird on that team. You can't I wouldn't even give up Alex or Dylan, I guess, before Parasite, because I think you're right. Parasite and Shawnee shouldn't be playing on the same team.
It was always weird from the beginning.
Yeah, so I think you have higher upside here, bringing on PaulEhx. But do you think do you think Alex and Dylan can figure it out to get that team where they should be? That's
at the same time, again here, PaulEhx prefers to be a main AR. So it's we have a very similar weird situation here where, Parasite, you're bringing in PaulEhx, Parasite 2.0 supposedly right now in the AM scene. There was rumors that Parasite was going to go to WestR to replace PaulEhx. Yeah. They're literally going to swap, which would have been very interesting. And I wish that would have happened.
Yeah.
But it ended up apparently not happening or something. I don't know. Because that's why that's kind of why Parasite was kind of being bruh on the timeline last night or 2 nights ago or whatever. So I don't know, man. I'll be very interested to see how this London team plays with PaulEhx. I'm not convinced it's going to make him that much better.
No, I think there's more problems than just that role or that personnel swap.
Right. They'll have two new players with Zed and Paul in the span of a week. Yeah. And then it's so there's a lot riding on that. So many different moving parts. It's hard to imagine they're going to be good, right, in the next few weeks. Do you see them? Will they win one series?
I think they will, honestly.
Really?
I actually see London.
Well, what's their?
Oddly enough, I'm feeling like London's actually going to be a lot better. Will they be one of the? They'll still probably be in that bottom, tier of teams, but they're not going to be as bad as they were before, where they're basically a free win. I don't think they're going to be as much of a free win anymore.
Maybe they beat
And
Ultra.
depending how well PaulEhx can play, like we know how Zed can play, and
Maybe.
Zed kind of was showing up for Raven,
Yeah.
kind of. And then PaulEhx, if he brings that amateur, like that passion, that fire, it's his first time a pro, he's finally here, like, and he's young,
Right.
and he's been absolutely slaying it in the amateur scene. This really could be a big upside here. We might be seeing another, a
Diamond Con or something.
Mac Awakening, like all these AMs that came in just kind of shocked the world.
Right. I mean, Diamond and Paul were kind of always like the comparison in the AM scene, so that would make sense. I mean, again, to their group, I mean, they got FaZe, Thieves, Subliners, Ultra, and LAG in their group.
Yeah.
No easy win there. I mean, for them, I mean, Ultra, you're looking at Ultra, LAG, where the Subliners. I mean, if I'm predicting this, they're going 0-5.
Yeah, because
but it's like not ideal.
You could have seen this like work out with the XM4 meta, kind of like Diamond Con and Clay.
Right.
But like now, like
we'll see what happens with QBZ, I guess.
That's true. QBZ. So like there is a world where their ceiling just improves tremendously, but at the same time, I guess I'm always thinking of Alex and Dylan's pacing. If they can figure that out, then they're gonna be nasty.
But
it's just
now
it's Zed,
Yeah.
Paul can keep up with that as well. And then
Zed.
Zed there too, who's a veteran, can also like dial it down if he needs to or dial it up. I really just see more upside than downside with this.
Well, they would need Paul to be awakening, and then in that slang flex role.
I think Paul is going to be faster than what Parasite was doing.
I think so too.
Because Parasite was really slow. He his KDs I think were fine, but like he was not getting in a lot of engagements at all. I don't really know his KD. Maybe they were bad. Either way, it's like his engagements were not high. He was so slow.
The lowest
PaulEhx,
in the CDL and hardpoint
is a
0.95
with accuracy.
S&D.
PaulEhx is a player that can pick up the pace, pick up more kills as he's traveling than Parasite was able to. And I really think it's what's going to make the difference here.
For sure. I think so too. I mean, overall, I like the move. I mean, you had to change something. So it's like, I mean, either you're gonna run it out with Zed there and see what happens, or you try to play a higher upside play here with PaulEhx and see how that plays.
Yeah. I also think so. London's not an organization that wants to be known as like a bad team either. Like they want to represent.
No, I mean definitely not.
No.
But it's definitely puts them in a tough spot for sure. So, other side of the news there, like I mentioned, Venom, the rumor is that Venom is joining LA Thieves, but we don't know for sure. CDL Intel said he doesn't know for sure if that means he's joining, like replacing someone, or if he's just straight up joining as the substitute for the team. So, thoughts on this? What's your I'm pretty confident this is actually happening. Mm-hmm. Like that he's for sure joining them as a substitute of some sort.
But not replacing.
I don't
think he's replacing.
Think he's replacing anyone, but where are you guys at with it?
I don't think he's replacing. I could definitely see him be a substitute.
Yeah.
But at this point with the Thieves, I don't think they're at that point yet where they choose to replace. I don't know.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though. It's like they have their sub in Draza, which Draza hasn't made major waves in the amateur scene yet. So if they pick up Venom, they're picking up a guy who's been winning in the amateur scene very much consistently and playing really, really well. That's a really good player. You don't just pick up a randomly good player if you don't plan on putting them in, possibly. Yeah. So I think Venom is either going to put in that sub spot, and now it's like we have a real threat here to our jobs. Or he's going to go in the minute 100 Thieves start saying like, no. But I think 100 Thieves is on that line of like, do we make a switch or not? They're going to play one more event. If that event does not go how well for them, or as well as they want it to, Venom is going to be put in right away. Because Venom is there, I think, to be put in.
Right. And that's what it kind of feels like. They're staking their claim on the guy who they believe is the best player in the AM scene. Like, that's what it feels like to me. Which is interesting.
When they already had Draza, if they had no plans on changing, why add that?
I think it's a little bit worrying that Draza hasn't made the Elite Series, this year, and that maybe Draza was just a Modern Warfare. That's the game. That's the best game. I mean, that's what's possible. It's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, like, is there a player who you believe is the most likely to be replaced?
I guess you could say Temp.
I mean, the other ones are pretty solid. Like they were there last year. They're probably gonna be there again this year. It's probably Temp. But
yeah. Temp's been playing pretty well though. That's why it doesn't feel like they're going to be making a change
but
here.
we didn't think Methodz was playing that bad for Ultra either. So
Right. I mean, this year, it is. It's such a competitive league that teams might end up feeling like they're getting stuck and they can't really. They're struggling to like move up the ladder, and then they're just like, oh, screw it, we're just gonna make a change, see what happens.
Yeah, even if they're not performing horribly, it's more just like we need to change something.
Maybe it's a 2-week contract situation, and they sign him to a 2-week contract, and they said, "Yo, we're gonna try you out for 2 weeks." Maybe, but
think of it this way: who's in the friend group on 100 Thieves out of those players?
Kenny, TJ, and Slasher.
Exactly. Are they ever going to be kicked out? Probably not. They're all kind of bros.
Yeah.
Slasher probably being the least. I don't like. They're very much 100 Thieves-esque. Minus maybe Slasher, but Slasher is the leader of that team, and he's kind of like the catalyst for that team.
And he was on 100 Team BO4,
yeah.
And so I think Temp is kind of the most likely option here.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Even though he hasn't been playing bad, that's why I don't think they're going to change. Anything else there? Any other thoughts?
I don't think so.
It is interesting though.
Very, very intrigued to see what happens.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's talk competitive updates real quick. We got to keep moving here though, unfortunately. Otherwise, we're never going to be done with this episode. Competitive updates. Obviously, Garrison S&D and Crossroads Hardpoint are out of here. They are gone. All right.
Nice.
So bringing in for Garrison, we got Express, baby. And Crossroads, we're bringing in Apocalypse Hardpoint.
That's
nice. Both.
That's a really fun expansion of the map pool.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Way more fun. Because you take out Garrison, now you get to see Express way better. I know some people, worried about like footstep sounds, and there are some weird things with like how you can hear footsteps through walls on Express so easily. Anyway, that is a problem, but hopefully we can get that fixed in the future. And then Apocalypse, very fun. Very fun. What were you guys' thoughts on Crossroads, first of all? Did you guys think it was worthy of being booted? Where you at with Crossroads? I
somewhat enjoyed Crossroads. I know.
Me too.
I feel like it might be kind of a weird opinion right now, but I didn't mind Crossroads. I liked the pacing of the map. I understand though that P4 was a problem. Right. However you say that word, hill. So like, and like the spawns troublesome. Wow.
Problemsome.
English. Problemsome. And then like you'd see like I feel like the pros would be tweeting out random spawns.
Yeah, that was the big issue.
It was pretty much always on Crossroads. Was like always like they'd be holding the spawns, and then for some reason the opposite team would spawn behind them. It's like, what?
Yeah, pros are so good at influencing spawns and like using the spawns to their advantage. I feel like that's why pros got frustrated with Crossroads versus other maps.
So so like for that reason, I can see it. But personally,
like inside of league play, the chaos is fun.
Yes, I enjoy it, but I can see why for as a pro, like you can like they probably came to a point where it's like we can play perfectly, quote unquote, and then still lose spawns or still lose something, even though there might be some. Like I know, like last year, Parasite was
there's a reason for why it's happening, but it's a stupid reason.
But it's dumb. Yes. So for that reason, I'm okay with it.
And for that reason,
and I like Apocalypse a lot. It's one of the first like expansion maps that like wasn't like a throwback, like a totally new map that I've been like, wow, this is actually a really fun map.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a weird like that middle area. That's like the only like kind of weird one was like that like where you can go underneath like the platforms like that, where it's kind of like I can see some kind of weird spots there, kind of being weird. But overall, the map design is not bad. 3-lane map.
It's been a blast to watch so far. Optics been scrimming it like crazy, and so that's been a lot of fun to check out. I've gone back and watched all of their maps on Apocalypse because I wanted to like get a good feel for it.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been a blast.
It's cool.
It's been really cool.
Yeah. It's a really fun flavor, honestly.
It is. And it's like a completely different looking map than all. Like, it's like the very like reddish dirt and everything. It's pretty interesting.
Like your redwood, Black Ops 3 redwood.
Very redwoody vibes. It is. Yeah. It is. And so it's definitely a cool switch up versus the other maps that we have right now. And so I'm down for it. I thought it was pretty interesting that CDL Intel put out a post or a tweet about like which S&D map should be removed.
I saw that.
And that Miami actually won the vote about which map should be removed. 49.5% of the 35,000 votes said Miami. And then 26% said Garrison, 21% said Checkmate. That's interesting. Rex, what are you saying?
Well, here's the thing. At the beginning, even all of us were even saying Miami was like our least favorite S&D
Yeah,
map.
I've warmed up to it.
I didn't give it a chance.
I have warmed up to it. I honestly think watching it is pretty fun.
I agree.
I think
playing it is still like iffy, but now like that I've watched pros play it, now it makes it more like, okay, like I guess I have more idea of what to be doing.
Yeah.
But
opinion,
watching it, Miami is still kind of fun.
Yeah, my opinion on Miami is that if you're playing 4v4, like a team v team, like real teams, it's fun because it's like in high stakes, you're playing for that first blood, and then capitalizing on the first blood, rotating the bomb sites.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. In league play, it sucks.
Yeah,
because you're playing like you're like rushing into purple, and your teammates completely bait you, and then they die, and you get two-pieced, and you hate yourself.
Yeah,
or like all that, that stupid stuff. So
that's what I think makes the map really interesting and real competitive play is the choice of the bomb site rotation. Because you have to like commit one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you choose rotate, it's going to have to be like a whole 4-team rotate the bomb. So like, I don't know. Certain plays play out really well in that map.
It's almost like having two bomb sites that you can plant.
That actually works.
Actually interesting.
Yeah. Not just one where it's only
Garrison, like literally one bomb site maps.
Yeah.
Like,
so if you would have asked me that question the first weekend of the game, I would have said Miami too. However, after playing it and watching it.
Yeah.
I think checkmate would have been
So I saw Easy Max say that he thinks that Apocalypse S&D is going to be really, really great, which is that'll be interesting. That. So he said he's watching a little bit of that too. So maybe down the road, I think I'm surprised we didn't get any control updates. I thought either checkmate or Garrison maybe would get the boot in control, but apparently not. Apparently bros are fine with it, and they don't feel like there's a good replacement for control right now. So we'll see. Apocalypse S&D, I'd be down.
I'd be down.
Take out checkmate. I mean, checkmate.
I'm not a fan of checkmate on any mode, personally.
Controls interesting.
That's all I can say about it.
I think control is better than hardpoint.
Yeah, for sure. Like control is the best checkmate mode.
But it sucks to watch.
Yes,
it's fun to play, but sucks to watch because defense is so lame. Like who's winning defense basically every single time. Like the defending team's winning defense. Yeah, every time. I mean, basically. But yeah, I don't know. Very, very fun. I mean, really frustrating when it comes to like league play tuning and stuff. CDL Intel replied to Maddox, the associate designer, whatever for Treyarch, and he screenshotted a few things and basically said like, "Yo, like, are we removing overkill from rank play anytime soon?" And he's like, "Closer, yes, but no ETA." What?
It's such a strange response.
And then he's like, "Yo, are you like?" And then they asked, "Are you planning on removing the battle pass weapons from rank playlist, like the LC10s?" He's like, "Prefer to evaluate and tune over restrict." So we're gonna have the stupid LC10, bro. I'm going on right here, but on stream, I was like, bro, I kept getting destroyed. We were playing a hard point on Moscow, and this dude was frying me, the LC10. And I picked it up, and we're on like a 14 kill streak with it, literally gunning kids across the map with it. Like, this gun is so broken. And it pisses me off. And like the fact that like they're like, no timetable, maybe we'll tune it, when they haven't tuned anything.
Well, like, it also shows too, like they're just like not paying attention to like the pro scene, because like the pro scene is not playing with overkill. So it's like, are they not trying to like have the comparable experience between the CDL and league play?
Right, and with like Maddox, it's weird because he tweets about the CDL. Like he's like, "Yo, excited for stage 2," and like he tweets about it.
So, but
it's like,
I don't get that.
Obviously, he's not really in the scene, because if he was, he would understand that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like overkill ban definitely should happen, but if you're gonna restrict battle pass weapons, I mean, they're trying to make money here. Like, you're gonna like people buy this stuff, and it's like they want to be competitive, and they buy it, and it's like, well, I can't use it now.
Yeah, but that's just the battle pass.
I think there really
weapons.
is an argument there. Like, I mean, I'm not totally opposed to using them. I don't have them, and I don't use them, but I get not restricting them.
Yeah, but in like other games where you had to buy loot boxes to get the guns, this is the battle pass, so you have to earn and grind it. And then like, I think people understand that DLC weapons. I feel like that's just like reasonable to assume that DLC weapons aren't competitive.
Think about AW, you couldn't use the Inferno or the Speakeasy.
Well, you couldn't league play.
In ranked, you couldn't. Could you?
Yeah, that's why I didn't play it.
Yeah, you could.
That's why I didn't play it, because everyone had the stupid bows and crap.
I thought for
But,
sure
like,
you could
do you
use
really want to
those.
like spend money to get this? Like, if I spent money and I got this stuff, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to go into some league play, and it's like, nope, can't use it. I'm like, well,
I don't
that
know
was
if
the whole reason I got the thing, you know?
Well, people are getting the guns for the sole reason of using it in league play. Then I hate you. And
Well, people are definitely doing that.
yeah, but like I don't know. I thought it's just reasonable to assume. At the end of the day, like they could still use the cool camos and stuff for league play, and like that's still in the battle pass. So it's like,
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm at with it. But all right, real quick, Challengers Elite Series. We keep having to chop our Elite Series talks because we just run short on time. But Elite Series starts as you are listening to this right now, tomorrow or on Tuesday, and a very interesting groups. Obviously, we see highlighting the things. Hydra is competing in the Elite Series, which in the NA, which is cool. With Pro Loot, Saints, and Spart on New York Subliners Academy. A few other things. We got John in the Elite Series this time around.
Yes.
Jerd, Feld, and Gravity, and they're E-Star. Very, very
E-Star.
fun.
WestR, E-Star.
And obviously other things we saw, like we saw Triumph break apart, and so now like Standy, Sib, Jimbo, and Dave Patey are playing on a squad together. So a very interesting overall group. Hires there. Shout out Hire. They got Zinx, Mox, Hollow, and Exotic there. And the Europe side is going to be pretty cool as well, I think, with a lot of the same squads there, these same faces around on the Europe side.
Though I don't think
as a whole.
Afro made it to the Elite Series this time.
No, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, any thoughts overall on the Elite Series or anything there before we quickly move
I'm
forward?
just hyped for the blood match versus E-Star and WestR.
Oh, it's going to be so great.
the battle.
Oh,
The battle of the...
Well, because the coach of
direction.
WestR is now the coach for E-Star with Gravity, and then you have Zap and
Yeah.
That was the other
Venom.
thing, too.
Because
Maybe
Denz
Venom.
is coaching WestR
Denz
now.
is
And Denz, yeah.
potentially.
Potentially rumored to coach them now. And Phoenix, the former coach, will be coaching that John Jerd fellow Gravity squad. So
Yeah, I feel like you got three powerhouses of Subliners Academy, WestR, and then potentially E-Star. It could be a flop. You never know. But
Yeah.
But the fact that John's made it is pretty exciting for me personally because I have
high
some John.
hopes for E-Star. I think
Yeah,
E-Star is
was-
going to be really, really good.
I was watching a little bit. They were scrimming in New York today, and so I was checking that out and watching a little bit of that. Last thing, pretty cool. Kevin Durant joined the Subliners
That's
as
awesome.
an investor. Pretty dope. I mean,
That's
obviously
awesome.
Kevin Durant plays for the Brooklyn Nets, and so he's on brand for him to sign. He's planning on being in Brooklyn for a while. So shout out New York. Shout out the New York folk on the podcast.
And why?
And Kevin Durant was pretty cool. We'll see. Maybe we can get some like streams. I know Clay replied to the tweet. He's like, "Yo, let me know if you ever want to play."
That'd be sick.
But that'd be pretty dope. Maybe in the offseason or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. But with that said, I think we can get into our predictions
Oh, man.
for the pod. Let's get into it. Who's the best in the game? Alrighty, okie dokie. So we got a pretty interesting set of games this weekend to go through. I mean, a little bit different, and obviously we got our groups. So I think first of all we can talk about the groups and then go from there. So Group A for the full stage here, and it was picked. It was kind of fun with the group selection show and everything else. In Group A we've got FaZe, Thieves, Subliners, Ultra, LAG, and the Royal Ravens. In Group B, we've got Empire, Optic, the Mutineers, the Legion, the Rocker, and the Surge. So first of all, which group you think is the group of death? And thoughts on a whole as how we end up with the groups, Rex?
Oh man, I was thinking about this, like, and really it came down to me and like the deciding factor is like, which side is Ravens on?
Yeah,
the one
I
that
was just
they're
gonna
on
say,
is the
what's-
one that's not group of death.
I was just going to say, whichever one Ravens is on, it's not it.
That was kind of where
Wait,
I went
really?
with that.
It's so sad to say that. But
Yeah, honestly,
If the Surge and Ravens were switched, would you say A would be harder?
I think I would.
Really? Because really, I feel like really it's just whoever Optic's on is the group of death.
Mm.
Really? Right?
I don't know. I just like looking at them. My first thoughts were B was for sure the group of death. My reasoning to expand further on the London thing too was I think we're going to see a weakened Subliners too from the meta switch. And so subliners are also on that Ravens. And then you also have Ultra with the...
Although, to be fair, the QBZ has been surprised. A surprise to be sure so far.
True. Yeah. So it could not matter. I could be putting too much on the whole meta change. But Ultra having like the personnel swap, Ravens having the personnel swap.
Yeah. Thoughts on LAG getting picked way later than I thought they were going to get picked. I mean, they got picked behind Paris, the Ultra, the Mutineers. Yeah. So they were basically picked, what makes that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th? Yeah, 9th.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting that pro teams aren't as scared of LAG, you know?
Yeah. They must have thought the whole thing was a fluke. The whole major one.
Pretty weird.
Which is kind of weird.
Always the chip on their shoulder there for LAG.
I know.
I mean, the players in LAG will always be overlooked.
Oh, right? Yeah.
That's just how it is.
They're just going to use it as fuel, though, you know what I mean? Like, they could come out hot, honestly. They could be potentially top 3 in this group.
Oh, I mean, for sure. There's potential for it for sure. I mean, they were great. I mean, they were really competitive. They beat the Thieves last time they played them. So it's like very, very possible. I mean, obviously, it kind of comes down to like how they end up playing this new meta. There's a lot of different variables there. Again, which is interesting. But yeah, I just thought it was really, really interesting that like a team, like, some of those teams decided to take LAG over, or to take like, I would have rather, I for sure would have taken Paris, or like, I would have had LAG over Paris for sure, obviously. That goes back to our power rankings. Anyway, I thought it was very, very interesting. So we're just going to go pretty straightforward, matchup by matchup for this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, and go through all of our predictions. Do we happen to have the updated, I was going to ask you about this, updated results of our accuracies?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But if we don't, we can talk about it later.
Basically, I know we have all of the like who was right and who was wrong on. You don't have it all added up. I don't have the whole thing yet, so
that's fine. I mean, I don't want to embarrass you guys, it's just as straightforward as that. Okay, so map 1, a very, very fun matchup off the rip to kick off the weekend. Thursday at 2 p.m., we have the New York Subliners versus the Atlanta FaZe.
Major 1 champs.
Thoughts on this one? Rex, I mean, these are your boys. Lead us off.
I mean, Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It like, as much as I love New York and I'm root for New York, like, Atlanta is, I mean, I could see a 3-0. Atlanta seems really, really good. And then with the meta shift, and we don't know where New York's at with like the honeymoon period thing. Yeah. Like, New York could take a map, but I don't know. I honestly, I'm going to go 3. I always down New York. You know what? 3-1 New York.
You always
or 3-1
Atlanta. I don't know about
3-1
that.
Atlanta. Well, I always like, well, at the beginning, I doubted New York early on. I'm like, oh, so I was like trying to be like, oh, it's gonna be realistic. Then they go farther. I'm like, oh, God. And then the last one we just did, I had New York falling, I had them going farther than you guys, but I still had them falling short. I was like, why do I keep doubting them?
Yeah, you're letting the public opinion sway you.
I know, but with Atlanta,
it's a shame.
I'm pretty strong. I'm pretty confident. Atlanta is just that good. But I'll give New York a map. 3-1 New York. Or 3-1 Atlanta.
Oh, very
cool. New York.
yeah.
That's spicy.
For what it's worth. I don't know. We actually didn't talk about this. But with the metas, I mean, obviously, XM4 now GA'd, QBZs. Still, I thought the QBZ might end up getting GA'd.
I thought there was rumors that was going to happen.
Because I kind of thought that the original goal of banning the XM4 was to guarantee a 2 AR meta. But apparently that wasn't the case, because the 3 teams that were against the GA was FaZe, New York, and Seattle. The only 3 teams that were against the GA.
Yeah.
So we got 2 of them in this matchup right here, which makes it pretty interesting. Overall, I mean, FaZe still looks pretty dang good. I agree with you. I'm going to go FaZe 3-0.
Yep.
I believe in FaZe, man.
That's what I have as well.
Too. They are kind of the truth right now. They're real scary.
That's the thing. I mean, is there an X factor there? I mean, Rex, which map do you feel like New York would have the best chance on here?
I need to look at what the maps that they're playing are, or what they're gonna pick and stuff.
Well, I mean, which mode do you feel like does New York have the best chance in if they're going 3-1? Control. Yeah,
probably control. I could see. I mean, if it went to If they win any, it's going to be the respawns that New York is going to be winning. The S&Ds, I just do not see New York being able to pull out an S&D at all.
I mean, FaZe has been so dang good in S&D.
Yeah. So I think it can be a control. If they're getting that win, it's going to be in a control. If they go 3-2, it's going to be a hard point. But S&D is just, I just don't see it.
I know. It is tough, though. I mean, as a whole, with predicting this weekend, I mean, we're going to have 2 new maps in the rotation. We're having a new meta in the rotation, plus some new, potentially new rosters this weekend as well. It's like there's a lot of variables this weekend with certain teams, and so it's going to be very, very interesting and definitely hard to predict as a whole. So our next matchup is the Seattle Surge versus the Florida Mutineers. Sam, what are your thoughts? Surge v Mutineers.
So Florida, we saw, was a struggling teamwork team. Team. Say that 4 times fast. But I think I was a little bit down on them on the power rankings, and then Rex, I think I lean more towards,
high on them.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning more towards Rex's side of things, where I think Florida's going to figure it out. So I'm going to say,
Fact.
Gosh, I'm going to say 3-1 Florida here.
I'm in the same boat as Sam. I'm going Florida 3-1. I would even go as far as say 3-0. If Florida really has their turnaround, I think they will bounce, but I'm going to go Florida 3-1.
Yeah, this is a big weekend. This match specifically is a big match for like Pristini and Looney and kind of just the whole squad as a whole for Seattle, just kind of rebounded, figured things out. I mean, it's been so inconsistent for Seattle. At moments, they've looked very good, but control is such a big problem for them so far. And so if that continues here, it's like, man. Then they play Dallas, and you're like, after that, you're like, okay, now, then you're looking at their group, and you're like, I don't know where the wins are going to come from here, necessarily. So that makes it really, really tough, because it's like, all right, are they going to they better beat the Rocker and the Legion then. But it is tough. I think 3-1 does make the most sense, and I don't love agreeing with you guys, because lowers my chances of being right. I'll go Florida 3-1.
What map do you think Seattle's going to be able to take?
Hard point for sure. Is there? I mean, they haven't been bad in S&D either, and Florida hasn't been great in S&D. But
if I was going to say maybe an S&D if Awakening isn't able to do what Awakening.
I mean, when Awakening's doing his Awakening things, it's hard to beat Florida.
I mean, on any of them, if Awakening has to flop, I think, for Florida to lose. But Awakening does not flop.
Right. In the tournament, what they 3-1'd them in the tournament, right? They played against them. That's when Skies had his 12 streak, and Awakening had that insane streak as well.
Yeah, and you got Skies right there with Awakening. It's like, how you even deal with it?
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I don't have it on me right here. But that's actually interesting. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you gotta have a lot of faith in the Mutineers. Yeah, it was a 3-1 in the bracket as well. But again, there's so many new variables. It does make it tough. But I'll stick with my 3-1 right here. And our next match is Toronto versus LA Thieves. What do you believe about this Toronto squad?
These 3 games I feel like are actually gonna be pretty good.
Oh, they're really interesting.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah, Seattle won. Oh yeah, Seattle won the S&D, by the way, against them. 6-5, that checkmate. That was the one where Neptune had the 3v1 ace, but they ended up clutching it up in the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, thoughts on this one? Toronto, LA Thieves.
Man, it really depends on what you think of Insight.
Yeah. How quick can this team catch on? I mean, Thieves is still a pretty big question mark in my head with how we've seen them play some incredibly inconsistent COD this season so far.
That's the thing is, like, during the state or the weeks, they were playing really good, and then they
come out and get 3-0 by LAG at the tournament.
Yeah, and then they just come out so flat.
Then they 3-0'd Toronto. Then they lost 3-1 in a series they did not look good in against Optic.
No.
So it's tough. I mean, that's why I think with this one, I'm going to go 3-1 LA Thieves.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have as LA Thieves 3-1. I hate it. I hate doing it because I feel like I'm just a hype beast, and I feel like I've been hype beasting this so far, and I don't want to be that. But it's just what the universe is telling me, and I'm not getting any other readings, and I'm just feeling LA Thieves.
Okay, Sam, thoughts?
I'm thinking it's going to be closer.
This could go 3-2.
Yeah.
We've seen Toronto lose a lot of respawns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Toronto might lead the league in 3-2s this season. They've had a lot.
I'm going to say 3-2 Thieves. Part of me is, like you had mentioned, they're just not the most consistent team right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Insight can make some waves here that we're going to see. But at the end of the day, I think I trust the Thieves squad when it comes to just pulling it out, like playing good core Call of Duty. Edit that out, of course.
You just got to trust them, Lots of trust. Anyway.
3-2 LA Thieves.
Alrighty. I mean, Toronto went 3-2 against the Rocker. They went 3-2 against London. They beat both of them there 3-2. That's London and the Rocker right now. I don't know. Rex, what are you going to say?
Here's the thing. I can see Rocker and LA Thieves ending up on the same playing field. Just the way their teams are organized seems very, for some reason, they just feel like teams that could be the same. But Rocker hasn't been able to pull out wins like LA Thieves have been able to pull out wins. But Rocker could easily bounce up, or LA Thieves could easily bounce down. And that's where, that's why these teams are such question marks, I think, for everybody. And I don't know. It depends what LA Thieves we get here.
I actually really like the LA Thieves 3-2 argument. I'm officially heading mine to LA Thieves 3-2. I am. So LA Thieves 3.
I'm the highest on LA Thieves right now.
Look at you, hype beast.
Yeah, you hype beast. I feel like such a hype
man.
beast, and I hate it. But I really am not. Why? Here's my question: why were pros still so high on LA Thieves after the major when we're going to the group show?
Actually, I lied. I'm going LA Thieves 3-1.
Wow,
the pros were so
back.
I'm back.
Oh my god,
that was my one argument. They made LA Thieves. They were so high on LA Thieves going in to the next group. That's what scares me. I'm like, is there something I'm not seeing that they're seeing here?
Yeah,
and that's like.
But again,
I think that's
them
what's
beating
really
Toronto
getting
right
to
now
me.
isn't like a statement. That's by no means a statement match. I mean, right now Toronto's just been. It's been struggling, and if Toronto lost 3-1 in their first series as a squad, it wouldn't be like some shocking matchup.
Yeah, and Toronto has a new squad too, so but I still don't understand why they had I just feel like I'm wrong about them, and LA Thieves are just way higher than I'm giving them credit for.
Yeah,
the group show really threw me for a loop with that.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. So our next matchup, kind of a test of opinions here. Test of opinions here.
I love this. We're gonna have different opinions.
Rocker versus Paris. I'm very interested to see where you guys wrap this one. Rex, kick us off with the boys here. What's happening?
Does Paris still retain the fire that they had?
Yes.
Does Paris carry it? Or was Paris going through a honeymoon period? That's the question I think everybody has. That and is Paris the truth, or are they honeymooning? Who knows? No. Rocker clearly are not honeymooning. But they have all-star talent that can do things, maybe. And I mean, my gut's saying Paris. Paris, I think, is going to have that fire come out. And Rocker feels like their passion or something is not quite clicking there. I'm going Paris 3-1.
Interesting. All righty. Time for a 1-minute debate between me and Sam. Let's go. All right. The Rocker are winning this matchup. Let's be honest here. No. So, I got 60 seconds on the board now. This is as straightforward as it gets right here. The Rocker, this is their time. Time to bounce back, all right? Everything's riding on this stage for them. They need this. Paris, they've already surprised people. They've hit their mark, all right? So now we've gone through the narratives, all right? At the end of the day, there's a new meta, a new chance for Rocker to rebound here. Obviously, the XM4 didn't work for him. Accuracy he prefers the Krig in hand. That's better for him. The QBZ, that was made. That gun was made for Major Maniac. This team's backing up. You got 24 seconds. What's
awesome. Here we go. Different narrative. This is Paris' just launching pad. Rocker is just slowly declining. Here we go. Rocker, horrible hardpoint team. They're not even get to a game 5 to be able to pull it out. It's going to be a 3-1 Paris. Paris is going to clean up both hardpoints. They're going to lose the S&D. They're going to clean up the control. Paris all day, baby.
There we go. That's our cleanest 1-minute debate yet. Let's go. I mean, yeah.
I think Sam won.
Sam had some good points. Yeah.
all the way.
I bet if I ask Attach, I bet I had some good points.
Yeah. I bet if you ask Attach.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting though. I think the Rocker on like a 100% note. I think it's gonna go 3-2. I'll take the Rocker 3-2, winning an S&D at the end. It's gonna be a fun series. I'm actually very much looking forward to this one.
This may be the best series.
You're going, wow. You're both are going 3-1 though.
Oh yeah.
I think if it goes to a game 5, it's telling me that Rocker actually has a little more heart than I'm thinking they have. And I would say Rocker.
If it goes to game 5,
you give the advantage to Rocker.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, I mean, there are gonna be more variables this time around. It'll be interesting to see if teams are willing to play Apocalypse.
True.
And willing to play Express on the first weekend.
That's one thing I haven't been taking into account is the map pool that has changed. It could be a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if teams actually are willing to play those maps. Maybe they'll just ban them off the rip, or veto them. But it is interesting to say the least. Yeah. Teams who sucked at Garrison or sucked at Crossroads will be like, heck
very
yeah.
happy.
LAG's pissed.
I was going to say that's LAG's playing ground.
Yeah, 100%. Paris has back-to-back matchups here. So now how much do you guys believe in Paris, boys? How much do you believe? Paris v. Chicago here. Next matchup here. I mean, you know,
it can be
Paris
a game.
has the fire. That's the scary thing about Paris.
I mean, remember the Florida FaZe game versus Paris? That was a close one.
Yeah,
and it was FaZe.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a close game.
You know, Optic is prone to underestimating teams,
but after a fourth place finish, they're probably not going to be underestimating much.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, okay. Thoughts on this one, Sam?
I have more faith in Optic. Obviously, I do think this fourth place finish, is a big deal for this matchup. If Optic would have won, I may have actually said Paris would have had a better chance.
Okay,
you know, with them underestimating. I think Optic is gonna want the revenge, to show everyone that they're not a fourth place team. And plus, I do think Chicago at Chicago's core, they're just a better Call of Duty team than Paris.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
So for me, I think this is going to be this could be a 3-0, honestly, a close 3-0, but I think I'm going to give Paris one map. Maybe an S, or maybe even a hard point. Like Optic might lose the hard point. I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah. It's possible.
So
for sure.
I'm going to go with Chicago 3-1.
Okay. Rex, thoughts?
Here are my thoughts on this. I think Chicago will win, but they'll only win in two ways. They'll either win 3-0 or they'll win 3-2. They're not winning 3-1 because if they win 3-2, I still think, even after, you know, the whole revenge tour thing, like Optic is still underestimating their opponents. Like from the vibe I'm getting from them, it's like they basically think that they should not have lost to the Subliners. It was a fluky game, and I think they believe it was fluky, and that's why they lost. I don't think they lost because they were out skilled, they're out maneuvered, out brained. I think they think it was just a fluky game and they lost, and they're like pissed that they lost and they're all on the revenge in that way.
I did.
I watched a little bit too, and that's kind of the vibe I was getting. He kind of just thought it was a fluky game, which is like they want to prove to the world they're better, but they're still underestimating the teams. They're not giving the team credit for beating them still, in a way. They're kind of, you know, slicing that in half. I still think Chicago will win, but it's not going to be a 3-1 because if it gets to a 3-1, it means Paris has some firepower and Chicago has to bounce back in the game 5 and they're going to be panicked.
Right.
But Chicago will pull it out in that game 5. Or Chicago will just steamroll through and Paris just doesn't even get a chance to pick up the fire.
In the first weekend of matches, the first home series, Optic did 3-0 Paris. But I mean, that was a month ago. So it's been a little bit, you know, since they last played. It was, you know, 250-102 on raid, 6-4 checkmate, and then 3-2 control raid. I think it's going to be a 3-0. Although, side note, with how Scump does his breakdown videos, I hate when he's just like, I mean, to be fair, it's true when he says like, well, Formal and Dashy just got hot. But like, that's definitely true, but it gives no insight into like how they were playing. Like, it's just weird. I wish he gave a little bit more insight a lot of time on like, why they were hot. Like, it's not just that they got hot.
What were they doing correctly?
What did the team do to put them in a position to get hot? Like, and I think in that match where Dashy was going off, it was real. I think it was because Envoy was setting up a lot of the things that Dashy was doing really, really well, and Dashy played off, to his credit, Envoy very, very well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how like some games a BZ goes off and some games Simp goes off. Rarely do they both go off because one of them is just playing off the other one very, very well. Yep. Like it's kind of how it goes. It feels like. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna go Optic 3-0. Realistically, wow, we're across the board here.
I know. I am curious how dominant Optic will still be in control if they will be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
they've been great so far.
Will teams figure it out more?
Now there's so much more VOD. They've had a little bit more time to look at it. Very possible.
Yeah, because like pretty much I'm giving Chicago every control win. Obviously, they lost it to New York, but they've been looking so good in control. So
yeah, no, for sure. It makes sense. Alrighty, Minnesota versus Florida. Another very interesting one also. Especially for me. Rex, lead us away. What are your thoughts here?
Again, I'm of the opinion that Florida is going to be bouncing up during this. Especially, I think in stage 2, they're going to start bouncing up. I'm seeing a Florida 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams I really want to believe in. So it's like, it is a fun matchup, and I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to take this to a game. It's tough because like if it goes to a game 5, I would lean Minnesota, but for some reason something's telling me that Florida's going to take this in a 3-2.
I know exactly where you're coming from. It's because of Awakening.
Awakening. That's the answer.
Because you just feel the vibe like there's teams that can handle Awakening and still win, like, and get beat down by Awakening and still win the S&Ds. Rockers is not a team that can be beat down like that in an S&D and still be able to win, I feel like.
What I'm going to do.
Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say, Sam.
I'm going to do a 3-2 Minnesota.
I mean, very possible. It's very possible, but that'd be pretty surprising.
This is interesting from you, Sam, because you had
Paris
Mutineers lower than me, and you said you were higher. Then you had Rocker really low, lower than them before. So I want to hear this.
Yeah. So why Rocker now beating Florida here? That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. Basically, I have Paris higher than both Minnesota and Florida. As it stands.
Okay. Fair.
And so we have Florida beating Seattle, obviously. So then this Minnesota-Florida matchup, again, this is going to be a close one. Like, it's going to be close. Part of me just thinks, I think Minnesota can take the control, and I think they're gonna win both S&Ds then.
Again, I see the argument for both ways, and this is a tough match. Probably the closest matchup so far in my head, where it's like this could go either way. And S&Ds, I mean, Florida is a really interesting S&D team. Sometimes they look awesome, and then sometimes it just breaks down. I think it's part of like having Slacked and Neptune on that team, and like you know what you're getting from the ARs, but sometimes the SMGs are in weird spots, and they don't play that. They don't play situations the right way. I think they're going to get a lot better. They're going to get. I think by the end of the season, Florida is going to be a scary good S&D team. But
I think
it's
Florida's going to be a scary good team in general. Neptune is kind of the next Shotzzy in a way.
Because here's the thing,
he's really the next Neptune, but he's got that Shotzzy quality to him, where like he's going to just Shotzzy before with Botsy. Now he is who he is.
The thing with Minnesota is that they're an amazing 2, 3, 5 team.
Right, for sure.
They have the third highest winning percentage in control. They obviously are terrible at hardpoint. But then the S&D, obviously like not the best, but they're still 52% win percentage. So it's like Minnesota's that team that if you let them win the control, they're probably going to win. Like or if you let them win one S&D, they're probably going to win the game, right? So that's my reasoning. Florida obviously is going to beat them in the hard points. Unless something crazy happens, the control is going to be that X factor. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts behind this whole debacle.
It's tough. I'm gonna go Florida 3-1. I was leaning between 3-2, 3-1.
What in the world, bro?
What?
You keep changing.
Oh, well, I didn't give an official count before. I just said maybe 3-2, and I wanted to hear what you had to say.
So then you want to hear what I said, then you do the exact opposite.
No, you said Minnesota 3-2. You did the exact opposite of what I said. Get out of here.
He's like, he made a case for why Minnesota could be stronger, and then he went Minnesota even
Josh just
weaker
wants to
than
hear my
what you
opinion
had.
because
No, I needed a wholesale perspective here. A full perspective.
Josh wants to hear my opinion because he thinks I'm like an idiot. So all right, I'm going to do exactly
So what are you
opposite.
doing here?
What
Oh,
he's
good to
saying.
know.
Good to
I'm
know.
going left.
I'm going left. You're going
You're
right?
going right?
I'm going
Okay,
left.
perfect. See you later.
Feels bad.
Feels bad as tough. All right, Seattle v. Dallas.
3-0.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, there's still room for improvement with Dallas for sure, but at the end of the day, it's like, how do you not take a 3-0 here?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it goes 3-1. You know, maybe Seattle steals a hard point or an S&D. They ain't winning control. So it's like, either if Seattle wins this series, it's game 5 and some insane S&Ds and
You just don't expect that from Seattle.
yeah, I'd put a lot of money on Dallas winning this one.
Or 2.
I'm going Dallas 3-1, to be honest. Dallas seems like in a weird place. I don't know where the
surprised to be sure.
improvement's going to come
But
from. I still think they're going to win, but I do think Seattle is going to hit them somewhere. And
You
for some
think
reason,
what,
I
S&D,
think
you
like the first hard point or something.
It could be the first hard point.
Oh.
And then Dallas will then flip it around. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's not too much to go off of there. I think Dallas should make pretty quick work of them there as a whole. All right, let's move on. LAG v London. What do you believe about this London squad? What do you believe about this LAG squad? The pros obviously didn't believe too highly of LAG. The new meta, interesting things here. I like LAG's chances here. I'm in a pretty good spot. Rex, lead the way.
I mean, part of me really does believe in this London squad, and I do think this London squad is going to be a lot better. And the question for me is, are they going to be better in this amount of time?
Right, that's the thing.
Which I don't think they will be, so I am going to go LAG. I'll go LAG 3. I'll do it. LAG 3-2.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Man.
I think London is
spicy.
here
You're
to
kind of high
prove
on
that they're
this.
I am. I think London's here to prove something at least. You know, they're going to be honeymooning, so like they're going to come out with some fire. Like they don't want to keep getting 3-0'd.
Yeah, I mean, I think London's strategy should be to they should try to play Express and they should try to play Apocalypse. Play maps that other teams don't have a lot of reps on, don't have good strategies for, and just see what happens.
That's true.
I mean, if they could do that, I would expect LAG to veto those two maps, likely, and they'll have the higher seed, so that'll give them a chance to potentially do that, you know, easily, even though they could veto it either way. So, well, that'll be interesting to see what maps they end up playing. I don't think they'll have the chance to do that. It's either a 3-1 or a 3-0 for LAG, and I'm gonna believe in LAG. I'm gonna go 3-0 LAG.
I was thinking of 3-0 too, if I had to be honest with you. I'm just so...
This is why I go left while you go right.
I was going to say,
when I can.
They're going to be like, all right, you know what? LAG 3-2. That's what
I said LAG 3-0. I meant London.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
This is not much more of like, I'm high on LAG as much as I'm low on London. Like,
Okay.
there's just so much roster. Like,
There's just so many moving parts.
Having like CDL Untold put out a tweet where it's like
The amount of players on their roster at once, that was a good tweet.
Oh my word. I just don't think, and during this time period, do I think they can be a good team? Absolutely.
Yeah.
This time period, I don't think so. So I think it's just going to be a 3-0, straightforward LAG win.
Okay.
I don't know, but LAG is a team that could get caught by London, who come out with some fire.
I guess, but LAG is technically LAG are sound Call of Duty players. Like in this game, you know,
I agree.
Like Assault's been really like I've been loving what I've been seeing from Assault, and I possibly may have him on my draft Royale team.
Oh,
possibly.
Very interesting.
Because of this matchup right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about LAG.
Again, they're prone to lose like a hard point, like some like scrappy hard, like
weird.
This could go 3-1, 3-2. I wouldn't be shocked by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, as a whole, I think like Toronto v LAG, it's gonna be interesting. So, I'm sorry, London versus LAG.
London.
Toronto versus Atlanta is our next match up here, and Thoughts as a whole. Where are you at with this? Sam, lead us off. Toronto via Atlanta.
I mean,
Any hope for Toronto here?
no, I think this is a hot 3-0.
Does Atlanta keep their winning streak going?
2 3-0s for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to.
I'm not confident in the Methodz switch to and then putting Inside in, and I'm not confident that that's going to make waves as much as it's going to make waves for London.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlanta is just that team is going to put that into the dirt.
Again, this London and Toronto squads are just it's very hard to produce results within a week or two of a roster change. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, my thing is like Atlanta.
Not always.
My thing is like excuse me. It's like Atlanta feels like they have like a vendetta right now. Like we want to be dominant, like type vibe right now. They almost like they want to send a message like we are the best 4 players in this game, and it ain't close. And so it's like hard for me not to pick the 3-0 because like a lot of teams like Krim even like tweet about it like with Clay, like how do you bring the same energy in these random league matches versus like a tournament? It's hard for me to do so. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like Atlanta right now is like they can bring the energy inside these league matches because there's like this like we are proving to the league that we are insane in this game right now. And there's kind of like that kind of like momentum's rolling for them. And I'm going to take them at 3-0 as well. I usually don't like those narrative type predictions, but like with Atlanta, when they're already heavily favored by so much, it's like, I think it gives a little bit of like insight into why, no pun intended, some insight into into the Atlanta.
Wow.
I was trying to say
you just played yourself.
I was like the Atlanta. That makes no sense. Into Atlanta face and everything else, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. So 3-0. I'm gonna go 3-0. We all have 3-0 there for Atlanta. And into our last match of the weekend, New York versus LA Thieves.
Ooh, buddy.
Rex, your boys, kick us off.
So, again, I'm gonna go New York 3-2 on this one. And like I said, I'm having this very big battle inside of me where it's like everyone is so high on LA Thieves, whereas in my feelings, I'm like I just don't see it being quite there. But everyone, all the pros, the group show, everyone talks about how great LA Thieves are, and that is what I'm not understanding. And New York has shown up. I will admit I have had feelings of New York being somewhat on a possible decline now, especially with the meta shift coming in.
Like
they
coming
didn't
back
want
down
this
to
meta
earth.
shift. LA Thieves wanted this meta shift, where it's like this is where it gets real weird for me to figure out. Can New York keep bringing that passion?
That's tough.
I will say that they will still have the passion, maybe not as strong in the first stage, but I think it's still going to be there because they know they don't want to lose it. And that's what they're trying to hold on to. So that part of the passion will still be there. And I think that's what's going to help them beat LA Thieves. So I'm going New York 3-2.
Oh, baller status. Sam?
Man.
Side note, they really gave New York the short end of the stick with the scheduling here. I mean, they have to play FaZe and LAT, the top 2 teams in their division, weekend 1.
Yeah, that's rough.
Tough stuff. Sam?
That's rough. I might be banking on, gosh, I don't know. It's hard with, here's what I'm thinking. LA Thieves, not the most consistent team. New York, they were hot. Are they coming back to earth?
Hot.
Or are they actually really talented at this game and continue to improve? With the new meta shift, does this make them that much worse? Does it make them better? Does it make them the same? It's tough because the QBZ could be an amazing gun. So my thoughts are, I think New York take this 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd be differing. I thought you might go LA Thieves.
I thought about it. But I don't know. There is something about the way, I don't know. See, like you said, it's kind of hard to do these like narrative stuff, but
the new meta scares me.
It is kind of
for
weird.
New York.
That a little bit, but I don't know. I can also see it too, like DiamondCon shining with the QBZ though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll
honestly,
be fine.
Sam. Yeah.
But the XM4, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going LA Thieves.
Okay.
3-1.
You know, Hype Beast, we know.
Yeah. I mean, again, I agree. It's the narrative of the meta shift. They wanted this. And in a situation like this where it's like you're bringing in the new maps, I mean, there's going to be new variables potentially. I think LA Thieves is going to go out of their way to try to play these new maps. We'll see what happens with New York and how they want to play with the vetoes in this series. Will be very, very fun to see as well. I really hope we see a lot of Express and Apocalypse. I don't think we're going to this weekend off the rip, but
I wouldn't think so.
As a whole, I'm very, very, very excited to see how LA Thieves plays with the new meta. Mr. Hype Beast myself and see how it goes. I mean, I am down. Sam, friendly wager on the Paris, Minnesota match. Rex, friendly wager on this New York, LA Thieves match. I'm in. Profile picture round 2 because last time our bets were erased, which was crazy. We're going to talk about that on the podcast this week. Last time I bet against Rex that Optic would beat New York in the first round. And lo and behold, they did. I was celebrating like, ooh, Rex, you're going to have a new profile picture. Ha ha ha, suck it. And then here comes New York on the revenge tour, 3-0ing Optic. So, evening the map count. I have nothing. I have no qualms. That was even debts in that. I had to break even there. Not as even for Sam.
Unfortunately.
Not as even for Sam.
I
What was
lost
our
that
bet?
one. Paris for, it was like we basically just said we had to eat something.
Yes.
And I think we found something.
Yeah, so in a second here, at the end of the podcast, you'll see him suffer here in a second. But it was very, very fun. So as a whole, we're running back the profile bet here on this LA Thieves New York match. And we got the Paris v Minnesota match. Things you love to see. We're back at it again. I don't have a bet button yet, but that's coming very soon.
Ooh, bet button.
A bet button.
I like that.
A BB. But we'll be back very soon. And that does it for our predictions. Voila, there they are. Glad to know I'm perfect again this week. What's
As
new?
Always.
What's new? And that heads now into, but don't click on the results.
I'm not going to this time.
Right, perfect. Let's go. So that heads us into intelligent or irrelevant.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
The
That's a good one.
ability to
To
speak
speak.
does not make you intelligent.
Wow.
And that is facts. That's why we're speaking out here.
We are. And
we're breaking the rules because we're all intelligent. What was the question today?
all right. Well, a little bit of spicy meatball. Who you got versus these two?
Yes, this is hitting on our debate last week on the pod.
HUKE or SIMP?
Who's the better player?
I think I know what the answer's going to be. I think it's going to be SIMP. I think the people like SIMP a lot better than HUKE.
I don't know, Rex. What do you think the people are going to say? HUKE or SIMP?
I think the people are going to say HUKE.
Do
I
you
think
really
that's kind of
think
like
so?
the consensus that's been going around everywhere is that everyone's real high on HUKE. I think people are going to people are going to pick HUKE.
It felt really split in like the tier list I did, and I said Simp's the undisputed best player in the league in that video. I also said in the podcast, and so the comments were pretty torn. I bet it's like going to be really close, like 50, like low 50s to high 40s type situation. I think they're going to go Simp barely.
I'm gonna cast my vote. I'm
Cast your vote.
I'm casting my vote for HUKE. 62% SIMP.
Wow. That's actually really surprising.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be really close, like 54% max or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that's-
Really?
Any
Any comments here from some folks?
few comments we got. SIMP, and I don't think it's even close. Better in every game mode, more clutch against better opponents, and has done it consistently for almost
Who
3
said this?
years. Texas Formal.
Ah,
Our boy
Texas Formal.
Another one, HUKE. I feel like people don't realize SIMP has a BZ who is just the best entry sub in the game. Oh, so they're kind of saying like,
HUKE has Shotzi, who's now the second best entry sub in the game.
and then last good one here is gotta be SIMP the Pimp, based solely on how hard SIMP and a BZ shut down HUKE and Shotzi in finals.
Ooh,
But
that
there is an
is
argument
an
there.
interesting argument as
Mhm.
well.
So
I mean, my vote goes towards Simp, kind of undisputed GOAT right now in my head. I mean, he's been quite literally insane. But that's nothing to take away from HUKE. He's been awesome.
no, he's been
awesome.
HUKE has been phenomenal.
The only difference is that Simp hasn't dropped 14 kills in S&D against Optic, which is the only reason why the public wouldn't all say Simp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But very,
Crazy.
very interesting to say the least.
Yep.
And now there will be a slight edit as I go get the punishment for Sam. We are back. All right, so this is what Sam's punishment is. If you guys can see this on the, you're not gonna be able to see it on the camera much, but there right there, you're gonna see that. So this is some fajita seasoning sauce, basically like a spicy fajita sauce, and definitely tasty when it's on fajitas.
Well, see, that's the thing is like I enjoy fajitas, but like this raw concentrated sauce is not gonna be good.
Yeah, this is like what you put on your chicken.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And it's strong. And so Sam, this is the punishment. Right. This is what you get. Oh.
Okay. So let me describe just the smell a little bit. Okay. So it's like I got some on my nose. It's like
get in there.
Literally take a whole fajita with the tortilla and everything, squish it up, and put it in your nostril. And put that in your nostril. That is what this tastes like. Okay.
My eyes are watering just thinking about it.
Okay, down the gullet it goes, boys.
Oh,
all right, Rex, I'll describe.
This is some hot one stuff right here. Alrighty. Oh,
dude.
Oh.
What's happening?
Oh, Sam's shivering.
The aftertaste is horrible.
Oh, it smelled so bad, bro. I couldn't.
Again.
Oh.
How much did he take? How much?
I mean, it was like a decent spoonful.
Again. Oh my dude. It would have been good, like mixed with so much other stuff.
If you got chicken and rice in there, yeah. Oh.
And it's like cold too, you know?
Cold.
And so it's like
it just came out of the fridge.
And it's just like this like weird, like it's not supposed to happen. Like my mouth is like, this is not supposed to happen.
No, it's almost like it's like more like what you put like on a salad.
Yeah.
Like it's like a ranch.
Like a thick like dressing.
It's like a dressing. Yeah. It's bad.
Oh, my cheeks are
that was worth every second of my weight.
My cheeks are like tingling too, you know? With like the not sour, but like
that was great.
Okay, we're good.
All right, that is paid in full. Gross. That is paid in full. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. What are you watching this week, Rex? What are you watching this week?
I'm on the last episode of Game of Thrones for the whole series. Probably watching that tomorrow. But I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones.
Oh, no way. What do you thought about the last season so far? Disappointing?
Well, I mean, I was okay with it up until the second to the last episode when, I don't know if we're doing spoilers or not.
No spoilers. Just say you were disappointed.
Not that I was disappointed, but I was like, I was really just kind of just depressed. After I was like, this kind of blows. I didn't like how this went. But we'll see how the last episode goes before I make any takes. But I think it's really, Game of Thrones is really a beautiful, beautiful show. And I think the way they're doing the last season, as much as hate as it got, and I haven't finished it, I think it really, you don't want it to be exactly what you want, because that's not what Game of Thrones ever was, right? Yeah. And that's what makes it so beautiful, is that it does what it does, and like, that's, I guess I have an appreciation for it in that respect.
Is the last episode going to change things for Rex?
No.
Do not say anything, because I don't know.
That's it? No.
There's chunks in my teeth.
Oh, good, dude.
There's also a chunky soup, by the way. Sorry.
It's kind of lingering.
Yeah.
Well, this week I'll be watching some March Madness, having a good time, watching some college basketball. A little bit different March Madness this year than normal, though, which isn't as great. But that is sports for you guys out there. Yeah. Sam, what are you watching this week? Anything else? No more cranes. Still no more cranes?
No cranes.
It's a shame.
I haven't found like any good like random documentaries.
Yeah.
However, actually, I was recommended a documentary. It's about like a 80s like serial killer.
Okay.
And so I kind of forget the name of it, but it's on Netflix, and apparently it's
dude, I saw it. It's
apparently
really
it's pretty dark.
Wait, what's it called?
Are you talking about the Mormon one?
I think that's what it is.
Dude, it's really good.
My brother recommended it, and I don't know what I forget what the name is.
Yeah, that's actually wild.
But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be potentially watching this weekend. But of course, COD first.
Of course.
If I have any time.
Naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a good one. So there it is for the pod, boys.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Best of the Call of Duty Sports Podcast.
It's Murder Among the Mormons. It is really good.
Okay.
Like,
shout out.
Like, and it's not even nothing again. It's not even like, I don't even want to spoil it, but it's not like against the Mormon church or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like
it's just a really good like.
It just happened to be a
story.
Mormon.
Yeah.
It's you got to watch it. You'll
That's
know
a good
what I'm
title.
talking about.
That's juicy.
Okay.
But yeah, there it is for the pod.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of COD this weekend. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good one. And definitely a juicy week of interesting news and so much. So tweet us, of course.
Yes.
At Best of 3 Pod. And we'll be tweeting you guys, of course. And then you can tweet us all personally. SalvationsElite, Bash_Bear3, Shady Nero. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Drop a comment on YouTube. Drop a review on Apple Podcasts. And guys, we really do appreciate it. But as always, I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash_Bear3. And to our finest right per usual is Rex, Shady Nero. And guys, we will see you next time. We out.